So, for today's deep dive, we are looking at what feels like a real identity crisis in the maritime world.
It absolutely is. There's this fierce debate playing out in the opinion pages of Splash.
And it really boils down to one question. Is the seafaring career suffering from actual systemic abuse, or is it just a victim of, a self inflicted PR disaster?
Exactly. And Carl Martin Fannison really kicked this all off. He argues the industry is, and this is his quote, painting itself into a corner.
How so?
Well, he thinks every conference is just obsessed with all these negative buzzwords, mental health, harassment, bullying.
And his point is that no other industry markets itself by shouting about how miserable it is.
Right. He's saying, let's flip the script. Let's go back to talking about the good stuff,
Yeah.
tax-free money, adventure, the camaraderie.
And Henrik Jensen from Danica Crewing sort of backs that up. He adds a reality check.
Yeah, he points out that something like 50% of German shore-based employees are unhappy.
Yeah.
So why is shipping singled out as being uniquely toxic?
It's a fair point. But a reader in the comments, Pikeman, I think, really hit the nail on the head. He just said, positive news doesn't sell. Gloom and doom is more attractive.
hmm But that brings us to the other side of the argument, doesn't it?
Mm.
Is it really just bad PR?
Or is that a dangerous oversimplification?
And that is exactly where Frank Cole steps in. And, well, he does not mince words.
No, he doesn't. He calls it systematic abuse.
He completely dismisses the PR argument. He even compares the industry's labor model to human trafficking.
That's a massive charge.
It is, but he's talking about the mechanism, the way the industry moves from country to country, always looking for cheaper labor, often stripping away protections along the way. That's not a marketing problem.
And the data seems to back him up, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm thinking of the Seafarer's Happiness Index.
Yes. Stephen Jones's report identified this phenomenon he calls the misery peak.
Which is so counterintuitive.
It really is. In most careers, you get happier as you get promoted. Here, it's the opposite. The chief officers are often the most miserable people on the entire ship
Why them specifically? They've made it to the top, haven't they?
because they're the bottleneck.
Mm-hmm.
They were just crushed between the physical job of running the ship and this explosion of shoreside bureaucracy. All the vetting, the paperwork, the KPIs. They're not sailors anymore. They're exhausted administrators.
Which explains why the satisfaction scores for the 16 to 25-year-olds are just plummeting. They look up the ladder and all they see is burnout.
Right. And Jones points to another thing hitting them, the connectivity contradiction.
Okay, what's that?
We all think better Wi-Fi is this amazing perk, but it's creating seafarers who are, as he puts it, presently absent.
Meaning they're physically on the ship, but their mind is completely at home.
Exactly. You're in the middle of the ocean, but you're getting texts about your kids struggling in school or watching a pipe burst on your home security camera. You see the crisis, but you're powerless to fix it. It actually makes the stress worse.
That makes the whole survivor bias argument mentioned in the articles really click into place.
If you only listen to the captains who stuck it out for 30 years, you'll never understand why the new cadets are quitting after 2 months. You're just listening to the survivors, not the victims of the system.
And you could see that variance so clearly in the comment section. You had one reader, UK, who called sailors prisoners who never get shore leave.
But then you had Scott Campbell talking about his life on a high-end Norwegian vessel. I mean, gyms, great Wi-Fi, movie systems.
Proving that a good life at sea is possible.
It is, but Frank Coles jumped back into the comments to say, well, crewing agents would highlight that, wouldn't they? It doesn't reflect the reality for most of the fleet.
So the industry is just stuck. It's caught between these 19th century expectations of grit and, 21st century demands for an actual work-life balance.
That's the core tension.
Uh,
And you can't just market your way out of a reality where your senior leaders are burning out.
which really leaves us with a final thought for you. If the very top of the career ladder, that chief officer role, is now seen as a burnout factory, can any amount of glossy PR actually save the recruitment pipeline? Thanks for listening.